Today, I'm trying out a needlepoint kit. Some assembly required. I was looking for sort of crafty kits on Amazon. I've been actually looking for a while because I like to try new things, and I feel like a kit is a good way to do that, unless it isn't. But usually it is. Now, I found this one, and like, hi, that's cute. I accidentally bought two because that's how I roll, and so Lily is making one too. Let me open up the kit and show you what's inside. So this kit is by the brand Sozo, which I think is also Sozo DIY. I'm pretty sure we'll find their little website in here. I'll let you know. In here, since this makes a pillow, this is the pillow stuffing. We also have a lovely selection of yarn. You can't feel it, but I can. It's very soft. I'm sure that it's acrylic because it's very soft. We've got some pins and a needle and some pink thread. This is to sew the whole pillow together. We get a cute little reminder to buy more of their stuff. It's cute though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It seems I would try a lot of those. They seem fun. Here is the back of my pillow. It looks smaller. Nope, it's the right size. It seems small. And here is the sloth. So it's on sort of a canvas background, and that is how we will do our needlepoint. It shows us very limited instructions, but enough. So it shows you how to stitch, and then it tells you all about sewing the pillow. There are 3 steps to how to stitch. I feel certain that needlepoint is more complicated than this. This is a definite beginner's level needlepoint, which I think is probably a good place for me to start because I have never done any needlepoint before. Oh, there's also like a tapestry needle tucked right in there. Aww. So I'm excited to get started on this because it's very cute and it seems fun. When we both finish, we will have 2 sloth pillows, which I think sounds great. We should put them right next to each other. Sloths everywhere. Cool, I'm excited to get started. And then, ideally, if I learn how to needlepoint, maybe I can make my own patterns and create something that I made up in here. But first I need to figure out how to do it. Okay, I'm all set up and ready to go. I have all my colors laid out and some scissors just in case. What do you think, Slothy? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Excellent. I think I'll start with the brown for his body because I don't really know where else to start. I have my needle all threaded, so I'll start down here. You go in from the back on the bottom of the stitch. Make sure you hold the end in the back. You don't want it to come flying through. And then sew back through the hole at the top. It's most efficient if you can get the needle to come out at the bottom of the next stitch space, but that might take some practice. And that appears to be it, over and over again. The yarn definitely catches on the edges of the backing fabric, which is slightly annoying, but if you pay attention to where your yarn goes, it's not so bad. So really, you just keep going, down and back, down and back, down and back, until you run out of yarn. So what they tell you to do when you finish with one piece of yarn is just slide the end of your yarn under some stitches to secure it. But I will tell you later on, while I was working, I did not feel that they were terribly secure. I don't want them loose, so I tied all the ends together. It's up to you, of course, but I do not want this guy falling apart. So you can move from the bottom up to the top, or the top down to the bottom. I'm pretty sure either way is fine, but I like top to bottom a little better, and Lily likes to go up, so try both ways to see what you think is easier. Here he is so far. And ta-da! Finished! Just kidding. But the sloth is filled in. He is looking pretty cute, and he's surprisingly soft. Next, I guess, I'll do the darker tan. And a lighter tan. Next, I guess I'll make his brown branch. At least he can hold on to something now. Since I'm doing the dark brown, I'll do his eyes and nose, and I might as well finish his whole face. Hey, let's see how portable it is. I brought my little lap desk into the car to help hold it up. Figured that would give me a little more space. Not bad. I finished the medium green during dance class. It's time for a craft break. Twin sloths. Now all the green leaves are finished. The only yarn that I thought was going to run out was the lightest green, but it didn't. But there was not as much left as there was of every other color. It's finally time for some background. Last color, yay! Ta-da! For real this time. I finished all mine. Lily hasn't quite finished all of hers yet, but she's had school this week, so...
Yeah. I only finished the brown. They look basically the same, though, on camera. So.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't really need all this much work. But, so I've got all the sloth, all the background, all of that business. So what I need to do next is sew the pillow together. So it says, pin everything together, like right sides together. This fabric is exactly the same on both sides. So I'm gonna just pick a side to be the right side. And then set it up, pin it together, sew a whole bunch of back stitching from the bottom corner. I'll probably do it upside down like this so I can see what I'm doing. So from the bottom corner, up and around and down to the other corner. Keep this whole thing open and stuff it. Now, one thing that I think might be a problem is I can see through. So am I going to be able to see the stuffing?
Yes.
Possibly. So we might discover that you need a backing fabric, then the stuffing, but it will be too late for mine. Maybe that's something you can do for yours. I don't know. Maybe it'll be fine and stuffing won't come through and you won't see it, but I don't know how you wouldn't, because you can totally see through.
Yeah.
So step one is pinning. I will do that and I will be right back. Okay, so I have pinned the heck out of it. I used all the pins that they gave me. I didn't want to waste anything. It seems fine, I guess. Now, you will notice, and I may or may not have mentioned this already, but you're not really supposed to tie knots in the back when you do needlepoint. But the way that this needle, you're just supposed to like hide the threads underneath your other stitches, but this is so wide, I was feeling like, what if you catch it on something? It's a pillow, you're supposed to be able to use it. So I've tied all of the knots in the back because I really don't want anything pulling out. I didn't think that they would stay if you just tucked them underneath. Maybe we didn't need to, but I'll feel better that it's done. So I've got my pink thread, and I'm gonna just back stitch all the way around. They say go as close to the embroidery as possible. I mean, we don't want any of this weird netting stuff sticking out the edges. So I'll keep my knot on the pink side. I might even try to do it really close, really up close to the yarn. I don't think you can see it. This is not a fabric with a lot of give. Oh, this is all gonna... Oh, it's gonna catch on every stitch.
Yes.
This is gonna take a little while. So...
I did one around one of the eyes.
Oh, good job! So at first I was sort of keeping track of how long everything was taking me, but then I gave up. So I was working on this for most of this week, but I also did some other projects in between. So if you want to just sit down and do it, you could do it during a vacation week or something like that. Or if you want to take a little bit more time with it, you could stretch it out for a good long time. So, also, and I'll let you know when it's finished. You don't have to wait, because I'm just going to fast forward through it. Well, that took 5 million forevers, but I made it around 3 sides. You know what? I think that it might be nice to go around the corners a little bit. I don't think you need the whole entire side open, and I think that it will be a lot more annoying to have to hidden stitch all the way to the corner. I could be wrong. It's happened.
And I finished the dark brown and medium brown, and not the light brown yet, but almost.
Nice. Awesome. So the next thing that I have to do is make a little seam allowance, and they want me to like snip in certain places. I'm going to have to read that a few more times because it doesn't make any sense. But in the meantime, break time. Ta-da! It's been a nice break. It's been a little while. So the next step that I'm working on is leaving a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And yes, I had to look up on a ruler how much is a 1/2 inch, which is good because it's a 1/2 inch is bigger than I thought it was. So I will just slice around here, leaving a 1/2 inch, and then I will look at the next step. I think that's the confusing one. So here we go. Snippy time. Luckily it's in a grid, so I can just cut right along where a 1/2 inch is, which I'd say is here. Oof. It's not easy to cut. Spectacular. Here's what it looks like on the other side. It's pink. So here is step 5. Create small cuts vertical to the edge of the fabric, especially near the corners and curves. Make sure you don't cut through the embroidery. I don't think they mean vertical. I think that they mean perpendicular, because vertical doesn't really make sense. So perpendicular kind of could make sense because that will help it not be so stiff on the inside. So I'm gonna go with that. And so I don't know how many, I don't know how often, I don't really know what they're talking about. See, I don't think we want it to be super, super thin. We'll do it a little bit closer around the corners. I'm gonna leave like that much. And if it, I don't know. So mine is the experiment.
Why would we have to do that?
So it will help it to kind of turn inside out better. Because if you tried to turn this inside out, the corners would be so stiff. You wouldn't be able to turn them because see, it's so hard. But if we kind of chop it up a little, maybe it will help.
Okay.
So we'll see if they mean perpendicular. If not, I'll have a wall hanging, maybe. So, okay, let me attack this with some scissors. Well, there you go. You can kind of see how I cut the edges. I cut them a little bit closer together on the corners, and then just every 1/2, 3/4 of an inch or so. And we've established that I don't know how much is a 1/2 inch. So less than an inch along the sides because that's easier to fold. So the next step is to turn your work right side out. Now, at least one of the moments of truth. This is not going to be easy. So I just... It's just alarming because you don't want to rip the whole thing. Done.
No.
Hello. I'm wearing a hat. No. Whoop.
One corner.
2 corners.
Oh, 2 corners.
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. Stop. Yeah, so the problem is that the gritty thing is kind of sharp and pokey, and then it pulls your poor yarn. So I have 2 pulls, but maybe you could avoid the pulling if you taped the edges or something, but then you'd have tape inside, and that would be possibly just as annoying. Okay, let me get my stuffing, and we'll get ready to stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I want to eat stuffing.
Ta-da! I've opened it. So it doesn't say any... really give you any hints. It says start with the corners and then move towards you, which makes sense. So I guess we'll do like a little at a time until we get bored of doing a little at a time, and then let's see.
I want a nice puffy pillow, so make sure
I
you
mean,
put in
we're
all
gonna
of it.
shove it all in. They gave us that much stuffing.
We're gonna need that much
We're
stuffing.
using that much stuffing. That's how much stuffing we're gonna use. I love him. He's upside down. I don't want his stuffing to fall out. I love him. He snuggles.
Actually, pretty.
It's not bad. It's
a nice
good
pillow.
It's a good fluff. And all of my wrinkles in the back seem to have smoothed out. So that's good, because I didn't iron it. Alright, now we use a hidden stitch, which I think I've also seen called a ladder stitch.
Once I made this llama pillow and I used the hidden stitch. It was really fun.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's just sort of a way to sew it up and hide your stitches. So let's do that. So I'll go in here. I feel like this needs to be tightened up a little bit. I was gonna say that this thread has a tendency to knot, but it's probably me. I may have cut it too long. I don't want to keep replacing it. If I were going to offer some advice, I would only cut the vertical edges. I wouldn't cut through both layers. I would just cut through the thicker, pokier layer. I wouldn't cut the pink fabric. I did, of course, but I don't think that you need to, because that will fold just fine.
Okay, good to know. That's what I'll do for mine.
And I don't think that I think that it's more likely to fray, but I'll just fold this nice and foldy. Halfway down the seam. Yeah. Woohoo. I'm tying a lot of knots because I do not want this seam to come out because I don't want to fix it. So I'm trying to do it right the first time.
Can I see it so far?
No, you can't. It's hidden. Haha! Walked into that one. Ta-da! Sorry, I'm very excited because this took kind of a long time. But it's pretty cool. I mean, the edge is not even bad. Look, I did a good job. Pretty good. Not 100% straight, but it's pretty straight. It's also a tiny bit lumpy, but that's fine. It'll be lumpy anyway. Yeah, see, just sit on it and it'll flatten those lumps right out.
It's comfortable too.
Good. Yeah, I wasn't sure how comfortable it was going to be because it's kind of very stiff, that fabric thing. I don't know what you call it. The grid thing that you sew into. That guy. So, I give it a 1.5 thumbs up. I mean, 2 thumbs. Some of the parts were a little bit tricky and not
confusing.
Not terribly well explained, but if you do what you think that they mean that you should probably try to do, it's fine. See?
And I'm excited to put it on our couch.
Yeah, and then I'm excited to put yours on our couch. And
when it's finished.
Yeah, when it's finished. No hurry. No rush. Yeah, give yourself plenty of time if you do this, but it's fun. It's cool. It's a good screen-free activity, which we're always looking for. So, it's from Sozo DIY. Sozo DIY. Not a sponsor or anything, but if you're looking for this pillow, I found it on Amazon, but they also have their own website with probably more variety. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It was fun. And it does look good. I mean, it looks like a pillow, which is all you can really ask for it, right?
Mm-hmm. Could have used a little bit more stuffing, though.
Yeah, but that's the only thing that they gave us only just enough of. They didn't give us way too much. You could stuff it more, I guess, but probably they just don't want it to like tear apart at the seams with its giant filling of stuffing.
Yeah.
So, I think that if you're looking for an intro to needlepoint activity, this is cool. I don't know if it will translate into actual needlepoint, because I know that is like a smaller grid and gets like an angle. They do sort of angly sewing. I might find out though, because I think it would be fun to design your own needlepoint and then try to do that. That seems like the kind of foolish thing I would try to do. Mm-hmm. I'm in. So, if you want, go try this. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. I give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up, sloth. Yeah. If you like this kind of video and you are not subscribed, you can do that right underneath the video, and you can see all kinds of other strange projects like this and not at all like this. New videos come out on Tuesdays
and Saturdays.
Thank you, sloth. So stay tuned for the next one, and until then, be awesome. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye!